Hey everybody, this is Jeff, spiritual escape artist. Thanks for tuning in. Today I want to talk about the way that we receive information. And there's no doubt there's a lot of it. I think a lot of us are dealing with information overload all of the time, especially from the world around us. Our devices, media, the news, and it's a lot to handle. It's a lot to think about. And I want to point out that there's more information that can be received via other means than just what everybody's telling you. The current events, the reports of other people, of things happening all over the world, current trends, finances, whatever world leaders are doing. There's so much going on in the world, and it's being fed to us through feeds, essentially. And really, when you consider it, it's impossible for you to know everything that's going on or ever have the time to sift through all that information and determine what's right and what's wrong, or at the very least what's useful. And I'm here to say that most of it really isn't that useful unless you're in a business or have some sort of life function, interest, job, hobby, where that's applicable and useful information. But for the most of us, we're taking on way too much information. We don't need to know about every little thing going on all over the world and everybody's opinions about it. But this is how the modern world lives, especially in American culture, from what I can see. So I want to point out other streams of information and how we receive them. Really, information is coming from all directions, omnidirectionally, through all the different senses, internal and externally. So we could make a distinction like this. There is naturally assimilated information that isn't necessarily computed through symbology, through language, through thought processes, through narratives. And that is the natural, intangible energy and information as it emerges from the world around you, from nature, from your home, from the purring of your cat, from the sound of the air conditioning on in the room, from the din of the town that you live in, the distant dog barking, the sound of traffic off in the distance. You are constantly receiving a flow of information along varying currents. And wherever your attention is, wherever your conscious attention is taking up your time. And so you may not be receptive of the sound of a tree in the breeze and all the leaves, the twinkling of the leaves, the brush moving, the tweeting of the birds. If you're looking at your phone, and you're scrolling through Facebook or something like that, and you're thinking about the opinions of others, you're being transported into a made-up artificial space, and it's taking time and energy to sit there and compute those thoughts and then draw that across a reference of all your memories and your opinions, which we could actually just call your belief system. And everybody has a belief system, of course. When I speak of beliefs, I mean more than just do you believe in God or Jesus or Hare Krishna or ancient spirits that live in the earth. I mean beliefs as in everything that makes up how you identify the world around you. The consistent and constant dialogue and storytelling that you go through, the narration of your life, is essentially the assembly and creation of beliefs. And you'll see that everybody is bombarding each other with that constantly. So the distinction to be made here is that egoic identification of this is who I am, this is how I think the world works, this is my opinion of everything that's going on politically, economically, socially, all of these different human-made, man-made structures are ultimately made up and artificial, unnatural, you could say. Where natural information or pure information, clean, uncut, is the sound of a babbling brook, the vibration that a mountain gives off when you're climbing up a trail, and the sensations that the earth is giving off around you. And there is wisdom to be gained from that, but it will otherwise go unnoticed if you are addicted and habitualized to the man-made modern expression of what it means to be human and what's going on around the world. What you see on your phone and what you see on the TV and what you hear on the radio isn't actually what's going on completely. Yeah, it may happen. And yeah, there may be events that are pointed to that did happen. But you can't possibly receive that information and have it be as though you were there and you experienced it yourself. It now exists in an imaginary realm where it can only be experienced virtually inside your headspace. And you have to carry around that with you from your job, while you're driving, while you're walking, while you're with your family, while you're with your friends, whatever. And it's now just part of the story. It's part of the narration. It's part of what's talked about. And it really doesn't do anything for you in the sense of spiritual growth or liberation, because it's just more of the same structure, more of the same confined belief structures or systems that people are housed within. And it's being broadcast from that, and it can only be interpreted through that, through one's mind, through one's ego, through the analysis and opinions and associations and memory. So it's not direct contact what's really going on. What the reality is what's going on right where you sit right now as you hear my words coming through your speaker, and as you perhaps are seeing me moving around on the screen and expressing this non-verbally. What's going on in the room that you're in, or the car that you're in, or what's going on outside with your earbuds in. What's happening in that space directly is what's really going on. And it is the natural, pure expression of universal information arriving at your doorstep, ready for you. And with that comes incredible wisdom and knowledge of what to do, who you are, what is all going on around you. It's not through the opinions and ideas and structures and languages that everyone has ramshackled together, because that's temporary and it won't last. It can only cling as long as your memory holds on to it, and then the feed will spit out something new almost instantly. There is a new information coming out from a new corner of the world. And while you're focused on that one specific incident that's happening in that one country, perhaps between these two countries, while being invaded by some other countries, you're not looking everywhere else. You're not looking at all the other possible avenues that could receive your attention at any given moment, like all the other hundreds of countries, like all the space that you occupy. What's going on with your neighbor? What's going on with the town that you live in? What's going on in your backyard, what's going on with your dog. These things are something that you actually have control over and is within your bubble of influence. But it's so easy, and I see, as I'm sure you do too, how people forget about what they have some semblance of control over, what they can really do something about and have influence over, because their mind and their time is so bogged down with an information overload coming from society. So I'm just painting a picture for you, an expression of information from how I identify my world and how I see the difference between what you could call nature or spirit, or a heartfelt, intuitive sense of things, versus a painstakingly overthought, overspoken narrative of what's going on and all the roles that we play in all of our varying identities and what that means. And there's just so much there that occupies people's mind and causes them to suffer, to lose sleep, to lose their consciousness, to lose their attention to the world around them, to what is actually there providing nutrients in far greater forms than just food and water and entertainment. There's a spiritual nourishment coming off of the literal thing in front of your face. If you have the eyes to see it, if you have the ears to hear it, if you can quiet down all the noise and learn to listen and learn to receive, then as you go through this process, you step into greater unfolding liberation within your own consciousness. Your consciousness expands. Your mind has more space. You can think better. And because of that, you can speak better. And if you can speak and think and listen better, then you have a greater influence over your life. And then you can really start to move in the direction of what it is your heart desires, what it is your heart yearns for. Because the only thing that would tell you that you can't have what your heart desires, or that somehow will only bring you suffering desire, is one, if not many, belief structures of what other people are telling you, because that's what they believe about themselves and the world around them. But I'm bringing this up to point out that what you believe in, as well as what everyone else believes in, is malleable. And it's bound to change. It's always changing. As you receive new information and as you open up to new information, and as you question that information, you open it up. You break it down and rebuild it constantly. And the journey within is just such a quest. A question of what is this? Who am I? What am I doing here? What do I believe? And is it working for me? Is it working for my family? Is it work for my community? Is it work for the culture? Well, I can tell you that it has pitfalls. It has limitation. It's built within that very system of defining, of creating edges and form and packing things into boxes. By its very creation, it is limiting. But there is an unlimited aspect to experience that we all have access to. And it is in letting it go, right? Letting it be. Things I know you've heard before, I'm sure you know who the Beatles are. They know what they're talking about. And you don't need all the psychedelics and that specific life to understand what I'm talking about. This is for everybody. I'm talking to somebody that is a child of nature. And for some that could mean a child of God. For some that could mean more than what you think, because what you think is temporary. But what you know is expansive and ever growing. And yeah, so this is a call to the evolution of your consciousness, of our consciousness, from someone who is boldly impassioned by it, who loves the growth and expansion of what it means to be human. And I thank you for listening and tuning in. I hope that I maybe plucked a string or pressed a button or something that sparked something within you. Who knows? If so, drop a comment, share it with somebody. I'd greatly appreciate it. Hit me up too. Let's talk. Shoot me an email. But anyway, I'm going to go and sign out. Thank you very much for listening, and keep on growing. Peace.